Hey, this is my yellow GT 98. Just wanted to record this because one other guy did it, but he did it in a super long video. But if you have this kind of shit going on with the the trunk brackets leaking, this putty shit that came from the factory, yeah, this stuff's not super good, and the guy who tried to fill it in before didn't really clean up the area very well before doing it, so I'm coming back through. So pretty much just chip all this shit away, and I'll show the product I'm about to use in a second here. This stuff's kind of a pain in the ass, so I'm kind of just going for the stuff that is, coming away from the sides here. You can see it. It's all cracking and shit. This stuff up here is probably fine. I'll probably just cover it over with the Flex Seal. But what I'm trying to do is kind of grind this rust down flat and soft so I can just put a nice sealing layer of Flex Seal on it. Do try to round up these corners like this until you can see that little lip. Make sure that's meeting with the metal. That's how you kind of know it's sealed. I've chosen a skinny ass screwdriver. It works well for prying up the stuff, and you want to use some kind of a wire brush or some kind of sandpaper is kind of not going to work. If you have a Dremel, that's even better. This would probably be the best thing for this, but this is what I got. So I'll probably get these at the old Harbor Freight, relatively cheap. So yeah, I just finished clearing this stuff out here. So in my case, you can see that the rust is it's been happening for a long time. I got this car out of a field. So this has been happening for a long time. So my recommendation would be, like, pick as much of this, cancerous metal out here. You want to watch out though, because you can see how it's lapped over in some places here. You don't want to take out too much, but for this loose stuff that's just gonzos, I just take that stuff out. I think I'm going to try to hammer this piece here flat and just clean the rest of this whole channel kind of up here. That side's alright, it doesn't need to be like re-welded or anything like that. This side though, I'm going to try to remove some of this stuff. You know that this stuff that I'm about to use, it cannot get wet, so make sure you check the weather or something, and make sure there's a 2-day period that you can do this here. So once you get all the stuff cleaned out of the channels, make sure before you put the trunk back on, use something like this, or rubbing alcohol is better, but that's what I had laying around. Set this thing back in there. Once you get it back in there, make sure you vacuum it again in case there's stuff flying around in here. This is kind of a half-ass kind of job. I mean, it's better than the guy before me did, but you want to make sure that area is as clean as it possibly can be, and then just tighten this down back onto the thing, and we're gonna pour the stuff. This stuff right here. This is what the guy in the video used. It's just the stuff for repairing like the tops of motorhomes and stuff like that, things that leak. You just make sure you tighten these bolts down. Probably want to pop these little guys out. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I just got these off eBay. And as you can see, it's kind of close to where we're going to be pouring, so I'd take these out before you start. Yeah. Make sure you got a stick handy, because I'll tell you what, you could prop it up and it'll stay there, like it'll kind of teeter on the edge of being just perfectly upright, but do not walk away from it. Just got knocked in the fucking head. But make sure you have a stick here for the pouring process, which we will now start. Ideally, you're going to want a popsicle stick, but in this case, I have myself a screwdriver, so that's all I'll be using as the smearing mechanism. So this is going to be kind of a delicate process, but A lot of it's not going to be on film because I don't have anybody to hold this, but basic idea is dump this stuff right along here, and then just use this guy to kind of scoot it back here and all the way up to like probably here. Which actually, I'm probably going to put up some kind of gate right here. Yeah, make you something like this, and kind of stick it right before this thing, you know, right after it. Like that. I'm going to go find some tape and make one for the other side. Alright, now we're ready to pour, because we got these gates in here to keep all the shit from sliding way too far down. So, yeah. So, as you can see, this stuff's a little bit more liquidy than I thought it would be. So, when you pour in, definitely take care to go slow. But I'll tell you what, this stuff is definitely going to work. I got a bit more confidence seeing it just kind of cover everything. Because when I saw it in the other video, I didn't think it would actually work, but it looks like it's going to be a super watertight seal. I got some on the hydraulic thing, but I think that's going to be fine. Kind of difficult to get it up behind here. I wouldn't worry too much about it getting on the hinges. It's mostly the bottom parts you want to seal here. Kind of worried about it getting through that little gap I got in the gate there, but I think it'll be fine. If too much of it starts piling up here, I might jack up the car on the rear end here, just to make sure it stays kind of level. Right now I'm just kind of scoot as much as I can up and around the back of it. It seems like a lot of it's wanting to get up to this gate here. Yeah, I think this shit's gonna work pretty well. And if I remember, I might actually do a what do you call it, a progress video to see how well this stuff works in the long term. Because this has been a couple years long issue. I've used multiple Flex Seal products before to no avail, but this stuff looks like it just molds right around those rusty ass kind of corners. Looks like this side's doing kind of good. You saw this little plunger thing I covered. Cleaned that off. I looped a paper towel around it, got that cleaned off. Looks like the hinges are kind of, the pivot points are kind of sitting in it. I'm not too worried about that. Gate's kind of holding up. Most of it's wanting to flow downhill here, but I'm not super concerned about this, or at least about that. Well, this is the side that was the worst, so we're going to see how this goes. So make sure to have some handy paper towels on you. This stuff is really viscous and sticks to just about everything you freaking put it on. Contact it with, like this shit right here. If you get a paper towel on it quick enough, it doesn't really stay. It's kind of something you can just pick off once it dries, but I mean, I'm not trying to make a huge mess here. As you can see, it's kind of like it's like a rubberized acrylic type thing. I think it's almost impossible to keep it from touching this little thing, so make sure you wipe that once you pour it. My damage kind of goes all the way up to this thing, so I'm gonna have to pour some down this little thing. It does not pour very accurately. I found a fix for kind of dribbling the stuff down here. I think I'm just gonna use this as a little ramp, kind of. It's gonna be messy no matter what I do, but you know, this should at least help direct it down this little slope here. So being that this stuff is very soupy, it likes to string up once you pull it away from a object you're kind of pouring it on. So this paper towel, you know, kind of just gets that stuff right off of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll just pick right off once it dries, but I mean, a little bit easier doing it that way. This strip here came off, or was kind of on the process of coming off, so I tore it off here. There was kind of the same kind of factory gum stuff that was holding it on there, so I'm going to use something different. I'm using this regular old RTV. Probably be good enough. Make sure to wipe these off while you can. Looks like that cigarette carton kind of did exactly what I wanted it to. I don't think you need a super thick layer, but I mean, trying to do this first time. Well, this is shaping up to be just nice. Tar pit style kind of resealing. This is the stuff I used. It was the Flex Seal Liquid Black. $40 though. That was kind of my aversion to starting this project. Not really the damage as much as the cost of just a little can of stuff. But I'll tell you what, this looks like it's gonna be first time. First try kind of sealing up here. Kind of a crack there. Might toss them on that. But yeah, it says it on the can. Let's see, this is the one thing that is probably the most important, is this stuff takes a fat minute to dry. Like 24 hours to 48 hours or more to dry. So if you're in colder climates, I'm assuming it's just going to take longer, which we are in a colder climate over here. So I'm thinking, yeah, probably keep this stuff underneath the tarp for a good long while. Would not recommend closing the trunk with this stuff drying here. I don't really think it matters that stuff falls on top of it, because it's already sealed. But make sure you get a flashlight up there and make sure that that side is sealed with enough of this stuff, because it did not want to flow back there. Side's a little bit higher than the other one. I think I'll fish more of this stuff over a little bit. But yeah, that's about it.